Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my May roundup where I share all of my thoughts over the past month on everything new that I tried, the goods, the bads, everything in between, any updates. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so as you guys know, I usually share my book of the month in these videos, but because I went on holiday last month, I read six books, almost all of those during my holidays. So if I don't want this to turn into a book review video, which I'm sure most of you would object to, then I'm going to just rush through these. I don't think I needed to give you a deep description of every book because you can just look up online, what they're about. And I don't want to give you any spoilers. So I'm just going to give you a quick rating and a 1 or 2 line on each of these books. Otherwise we'll be here all day. So first up, I Did It. This is the book written as a confession by O.J. Simpson. So I've held off on reading this for a very long time because I just was very, very uncomfortable with it. I didn't realise that the rights to this book had been given to the family of one of the victims. So that made me feel, when I learned that made me feel like, okay, I don't mind reading this. I want to read what the family had written at the beginning of the book, and that was the most important part to me. And that was the best part of the book. The actual rest of the book is just, it feels very uncomfortable. I didn't enjoy reading it. It's obviously extremely self-serving. I'm giving this a 6. The Gathering, my latest CJ Tudor obsession. You know how much I love this author. This was a straight 10 out of 10 for me. A little bit different to what she typically does, but I absolutely loved it. I was gripped from the first page to the last, and as always, she always manages to surprise me with some twists when you think everything is resolved. Amazing. Loved it. Next up on holiday, I read both It Starts With Us and It Ends With Us. I didn't really know anything about these books. I knew they were very, very popular, but I fully thought they were like a typical chick lit romance type of novel, and they are so much more than that. So I was very pleasantly surprised. I read It Ends With Us, which is the first one, confusingly. I read that one first. Obviously I read them in the correct chronological order, and I read it in less than a day. I steamed through it. I was absolutely addicted. It's an amazing book. 10 out of 10. It Starts With Us, I didn't enjoy it as much. 8 out of 10, but still a very much enjoyable read. I then read a Harlan Coben book, I Will Find You. Unbelievable. This is a straight 10 out of 10, as with all of their books. It was gripping, it was exciting, it kept me guessing. Again, read it in 1 day straight, then gave it to my husband, who also read it in 1 day straight, and we both loved it. And finally, I read Yellowface. This, again, very outside of my typical type of book. I grabbed this at the airport, not really knowing anything about it, but it was in the bestseller section, so I was kind of intrigued enough to grab it, and I'm glad that I did. I thought it was really interesting. It felt really slow in comparison to what I typically am reading, where it's, a lot of thrillers, fast moving action, and it was a lot quieter than my typical go-to type of books. I enjoyed it. It was very thought-provoking, very confronting. 7 out of 10, a little too slow for my liking. I lent it to my husband after, and he literally got a few chapters in and gave up on it, but I did enjoy it more than he did. Very interesting, but just not my typical type of book. So yeah, I enjoyed it less than some of the more thriller type of books that I read. So I do have a fashion item to share with you this month, and it is these sandals. These I purchased from All Saints just prior to my holiday. I wasn't really sure how I was going to get on with them. I didn't have a chance to wear them a lot before we went. They arrived a couple of days before we went, and I wasn't sure how it was going to go. These changed my life, okay? These sandals, I love them so much. I only really share fashion items in these videos with you if I feel like they're really, worth telling you about, and these sandals are really worth telling you about. I have barely taken these off of my feet since they arrived. I wore them all holiday. They're so versatile. They look good with dresses, with shorts. You can wear them to the beach. You can wear them out to dinner. They're so versatile. If I had known how comfortable and wearable they would have been the only pair of shoes that I needed to take with me. I literally could have got my whole 2 weeks holiday away just with these sandals. They are so soft. I've since worn them on a really, really long day out with my children where I walked easily my 10,000 steps and not a single sore bit or tired bit of my foot, no rubbing, no blisters, no nothing, and they're still really quite new. They are the best purchase fashion-wise that I have made this year, I think. I'm just going to wear these non-stop. They feel so soft and kind to your feet. You can walk for miles and they're so versatile. Like I said, if you're looking for the perfect pair of holiday shoes, if you don't want to wear heels or you want, you know, doing quite a bit of walking, we go to lots of cobbled places here and when we go away, and they are just so comfy, so wearable. If you're going to walk a lot, if you're going to the beach, if you want to pack really, really lightly, they will do it all. They're going to be glued to my feet until at least September. Now, I think I mentioned to you guys in another video that I hadn't managed to get my brows laminated before I went. They were due like a week before I was going to be going away, and I just couldn't get an appointment far enough away from my holiday that I thought it was a good idea, because once you get them wet, they're ruined. So I didn't want to get them wet too early. I didn't want it to just be a waste of time. I didn't want to damage my brows. So I couldn't get my lamination appointment in before we went. So I decided to try a brow tint at home just to cut back on what I needed to do to my brows while we were away. And I tried the Eylure Brow kit. This is the one here. I will, of course, link it in the description box. Previously, I've tried the Ardell brow tint and it's okay. I just feel like it doesn't take that when it doesn't last very long and it doesn't give me that much color. This one is amazing. I was so impressed. My brows were perfect. It picked up every little brow hair that I had, and some I didn't even know I had, and it lasted 4 weeks. The other thing I noticed is I, for some reason, have got like one grey brow hair. That's right. And it's in a really annoying place that I can't just pluck it out. I need it. I need to keep that hair. And it completely tinted that hair as well. So it will work on grey brows as well. If, like me, you have been victimized by such a thing. Amazing. Definitely would try again and buy again. Between brow appointments, perfect. Tatcha sent me across their new SPF this month. This is a silk sunscreen. I believe this existed previously and it's a reformulation as opposed to a brand new product. So this is SPF 50 and I love it. It is so thin and lightweight, very watery, very hydrating, and the silk word is absolutely the right word for this. It literally feels so silky on your skin. You can see there without, so it's got a bit of glow, but it's not greasy. It's perfect, exactly the type of SPF that I like. It goes beautifully under makeup, does not annoy or clog up makeup or make it, you know, start peeling. It's lovely. That is going to be my next SPF on my list. I've already got a couple to go through, but I'm kind of excited to get using this one because it's really, really nice, very hydrating, mineral sunscreen, right up my street. Really nice travel friendly, handbag friendly packaging as well. Love it. I also picked up a new fragrance this month, and oh my God, this is Nihilo's Brompton Immortals. I believe this is it a Harrods exclusive? I think, which is why I wasn't really familiar with it. I was just browsing one day, as I do on Fragrantica, looking for something that I wanted to try, something new. Oh my gosh, I blind bought this. It was very expensive. I don't recommend you do that, but there was a sale on. So I thought I'm going to do it. I can get 15% off, I think. And I also had quite a lot of loyalty points. So I did have a really good saving. But from the reviews and the notes of this fragrance, I felt very confident that I knew I was going to love it. And love it, I do. This has saffron in the opening as well as pink pepper, and then there's some florals in the middle, and then we have Madagascar vanilla, patchouli, olibanum and white musk in the base. So many of my like tick green flag notes in this fragrance. The performance is unbelievable. It's not like overbearing, oh my God, no one can breathe anywhere around you. It's that scent bubble, that perfect waft as you walk past anyone, that scent trail. Anyone who sort of is in conversation with you is going to get a little waft of it, but it's not overpowering the room. Very long wearing, you know, you're going to wake up the next day and it's still be smelling on your skin. It's so beautiful. It's that warm, spicy, saffrony scent. If you like my type of fragrances, if you like Baccarat Rouge, if you love Versace Ginger Homme Pétillant, you cannot not like this. It's very much along those same Mancera, Instant Crush, all of those types of fragrances. It's so interesting to me, and it really has a beautiful journey to the fragrance. It doesn't just stay linear. It's got this gorgeous development of the scent, and it really warms up. It doesn't become too cloying or too overpowering at any point, even in the warmer weather. The bottle is absolutely stunning. It's utterly to die for. I don't know if I could ever be without it again. It went instantly into my top 5, possibly top 3, who knows, even higher. 10 out of 10 from me. Now we're moving, I think, yes, onto the makeup. First up, Armani sent me some shades of their new glosses. These are the Prisma Glass glosses. This one I think is probably my favorite, number 2. There she is. As you can see, a fair bit of color for a gloss. These are lovely, very comfortable, lightweight, shiny glosses that aren't sticky, that don't bunch up, that have a really nice amount of colour. Do I think they're like life-changing, especially different to other nice glosses that I own? No, but they are a really nice gloss with some lovely packaging. This shade in particular is perfect for summer. I don't know that if you have a lot of glosses, I would run out and buy these over the ones that you already have. But if you're looking for a nice pretty gloss, they are that, and I've had no complaints about it. But I don't really get excited about glosses, you know, so don't go broke for them. It's my advice. MAC reformulated their Studio Fix foundation, a risky move, some would say. I'd be one of them, because reformulations, I feel like they more often than not go downhill instead of up the hill that we would ask for. But I really like this. I'm not a MAC Studio Fix girl, okay? I haven't used it since I was approximately 15 years old in a wildly inappropriate shade for myself, so it was fun to revisit this. Now coming with a pump, which we love. This is definitely not my kind of foundation. It's very full coverage and it's very matte, but I will say, although it's been a very long time since I used the original, I do think this is an improvement from what I can remember, at least, as obviously it's not a foundation I've used recently or used a lot at any point. I feel like this is just a hair more of a natural matte finish than the very, very flat, painful matte, dry looking matte that I remember this being. Definitely a little lighter as well on the skin. It still has that paint-like smell, still has really full coverage. It blends beautifully. It's less heavy, I think, on lines. I noticed on my forehead, even though I was like 15 years younger the last time I really used Fix Plus, this looked far more flattering and heavy on like my forehead and around the problem zone, the textured area, than I remember that one looking on me many years ago. So I definitely think it's an improvement. I think it's more flattering, kinda lighter and less flat than I remember the original being, but it's still a very matte foundation for my taste. But if you are looking for a very full coverage matte foundation at a more reasonable price point than, say, the Tom Ford or the Louboutin, then maybe worth a go. I don't think you would like that if you have dry skin, but I definitely think it's an improvement on the previous formula. Another new foundation this month that I tried is the new Fenty Beauty. This is the Soft Lit Naturally Luminous Longwear foundation. I have a full review and wear test on this bad boy if you would like to hear my full in-depth thoughts and see it in action. This is a like for me, and it's remained a like. It hasn't really grown on me any more than when I initially used it. It's a nice foundation. It has a sort of satin finish, a sort of right in the middle of their other two foundations, as you would expect from the claims. If you put, you know, the soft matte foundation and then their hydrating, this one is like slap bang in the middle. So I still prefer the more hydrating glowier foundation to this one, but I think it's a really solid foundation. It wears well, I don't have any problems, but there's just nothing that wows me about it. You know, the coverage is nice, the finish is fairly nice, it's a little less glowy than my personal preference. But yeah, there's nothing that sort of knocks my socks off or wows me about it. And it is one that is going to sort of go into the foundation drawer to die, as opposed to my top drawer foundations, because it's just not a wow. It's definitely not beating out any of the other foundations that are kind of in the same category. It's a like, no major issues with it, but not a love going on my face every day, you know? It was just good, but not great. Something I very much do love is my second one of these Chanel split pan powders. This is the Le Beige Healthy Glow Sunkissed powder in the shade medium rose gold. I initially picked up the medium coral and then I went back for more. I love the medium coral so much, but I was going to say I think I love this one more, but I don't know. I don't know if I do. I think maybe I still prefer the medium coral, but this one is also so beautiful. I'm wearing this today. I typically mix the bronzer and the highlighter together because the highlighter is still maybe just a hair deeper than I can wear even with a tan. I think maybe towards more in the summer, I'll be able to start using it, you know, just as a highlighter. But I do just like to mix these two together and I think it's so beautiful. It's quite subtle, as you can see, even though it is the medium shade. So I do a fair bit of building up with this, which I like. You know, I tend to be heavy-handed, so if I can build as opposed to be left with a really pigmented bronzer or blush that I have to blend out and do a lot of work to sort of tone it down, I'd rather build up. I think that the blush is stunning and a little bit more different to the blushes that I typically buy because it's not, you know, a peach or a coral. It is that sort of rosier blush. I love both of these palettes so much. I've actually been considering picking up a third one. I've been trying to listen to my friend Tanya, who reviewed a few, or she tried a few of these palettes, and she got the light coral and the medium coral, and she's telling me they're too similar, you don't need both. And I'm trying really hard to listen, but my heart is trying to convince me that I do need both, so watch this space. We had quite a few new releases from MAC this month, and they sent me quite a lot of their new products to try, and there was some real hits in here, some misses, but some real hits. So they have some new brow products. This is the Locked Brow Gel and then their new Pro Brow Definer. The brow pencil I love. It's really tiny, it has a lovely component, really nice spoolie and a really tiny diddy little pencil, which is just what I love for those hair strokes. Can you see those? Really, really fine hair strokes. So easy to achieve with this, and it's just the perfect amount. You know, you could barely touch your skin and you've got a crisp hair-like stroke, which I really love. I really like these. I don't know if they are going to knock my new Benefit pencil off top spot. They're neck and neck, very similar, very close. I think that the shades that I have in the Benefit are better than the MAC. They are very good at doing, you know, brow colours, Benefit, I find, but it's such a nice pencil, really, really good. I've been using it a lot. The brow gel I don't love. It's got to really let me show you this wand. I have to show you. There it is there. Also green. Definitely an interesting choice. So I kind of struggled with this. It's very flat and not that many bristles, and I just wasn't really sure what to do with it. I think if you have less stubborn brows than mine, so you can just sort of run this through your brow and your brow is going to stay like that, it will be very effective. My brows are so stubborn, it's why I have to get them laminated, that I need to literally glue my brows to my skin or they just won't stay. There's no point in me just brushing a brow gel through my brows. It will do nothing. They will just go back, straight back to where they were before we began this process. So that's what I found with this one. I couldn't sort of, you know, really laminate my brow with the wand. It's just, it's scratchy and it's not very easy to work with when you're trying to do that sort of laminated brow effect. If you're just brushing it through, it wouldn't hold my brows using it like that. So for me, this was a fail. But if your brows are a little easier going than mine, you probably get on a lot better with it than me. I have to really use some hardcore brow gel, okay? Otherwise they just don't listen. Next up, MAC came out with the coveted brown shade of their MAC Stack mascara. You guys know I already absolutely love the MAC Stack mascara. So in a brown shade, I was super excited. This is the mascara I have on today and I love it. It's a very, very dark brown. So it doesn't, I feel like previous brown mascaras I've used, they're so light that you kind of, it doesn't give me the contrast that I need, especially if I'm wearing a fair bit of eyeshadow, like my eyelashes just get lost. So this is dark enough to still give you a real kapow lash with a lot of contrast, but it's just a hair softer than the black. I loved it. I love the mascara anyway. I love this brown shade. They also sent me their new Legit Lash Primer. Again, I used this today. I mentioned, if you watched my trying new makeup video where I had the Lancome lash primer, I don't really go for a lash primer. I feel like it does the same job as just another coat of mascara, but it's an extra product that you need to buy. What you guys did educate me about in that video is if you have shorter lashes, apparently lash primer is far more effective for you than it is for me, because I have, you know, really good natural lashes. I use the lash serum, so I'm still enhancing, you know, my natural lashes, which are good. I'm not trying to show off, by the way. I'm just trying to explain. I'm so sorry. But I've never felt that they kind of do anything other than just an extra coat of mascara. So that is my experience. It's a very good lash primer. It gives me basically a first coat of mascara. I wouldn't run out and buy it. I would just do another coat of mascara, but that's just me. It works very nicely, no clumping. It really coats every lash really nicely, and it is a great primer for mascara. But like I said, me personally, I would just do another coat of mascara and save myself the money on another product. But if you are someone who gets a lot out of lash primer, then it's a really good one. And while we're talking about mascaras and lash primers, we might as well go back over the Lancome one. I've kind of told you all of my thoughts in my trying new makeup video on these. I've had these for a bit longer. I've had these for a good few weeks that I've been trying them. I've been trying the Lancome mascara by itself and trying it with the primer. Like I said in my trying new makeup video, I don't feel like this does anything other than it's basically a coat of mascara that's white. The mascara itself, for me personally, it's a little too clumpy. It's a little too, you know, thick, clumpy lash for my taste these days. And the wand is so big, I can't use it on my lower lashes without getting it like all over my face. It's also a very wet formula, which means it ages really well, but it also is so messy. And my mascara application is a mess at the best of times. So this is a nice for me, but I wouldn't repurchase it, and it wasn't a love. I definitely prefer the MAC Stack to that one. Next up, Suku sent me 3 of their, I think that's their whole range of these new highlighters. These are their Artistique liquid highlighters. I did use these in a video. I think it was maybe my makeup and movies, my last makeup and movies video. These really surprised me. I think when I swatched these, I thought I'm not going to like them, but then I found like the shade that I liked, and these are so pretty. So it comes in 3 shades. One of them, I think, which is why I thought I wouldn't like them, because it's this lightest shade. This is Frou Frou. And it has like a lilac, like a purpley shift. And I thought, oh no, these are going to be bonkers. But then I tried Lame, and that is the middle shade. And that is when my love affair kicked it. So here we have that Frou Frou, and you can see that, I think you'll be able to see that sort of lilac shift in there. Then you have the one that I love, Lame, and then this is Chi Chi. I think that sort of bronzier shade, which I think is the one that I used in my makeup and movies, just a little too dark for me, but this shade is beautiful. You know, if I take the other 2 away and then just sort of blend this a little on my hand, it just becomes so glass skin, really beautiful, light, thin texture, really easy to work with. It really is that like sort of just looks like dewy skin, you know, where you want it and not where you don't. Really, really pretty, very elegant, no shimmer and sparkle. You know, even looking really close, it's just like glass skin. I really love that. Really pretty. Super duper pretty highlighters from Surat. Just depends whether the shade, any of the shades are going to work for you, because I don't personally like those sort of lilac-y purple shifting highlighters. I think they probably work better for people with fairer skin. And then the Chi Chi shade is a bit too deep for me, even with a tan. So yeah, really pretty highlighters, really easy to use, especially for a liquid highlighter that typically I find tricky. Really enjoyed those. And now, if you remember, I promised you, I made a vow to you to try something from Danessa Myricks this month, and try it and love it. I did. This is one of her low lighters in the shade Low Key. Can you see how much I have used this? It's an absolute mess. I really love this. It's so pretty. A really soft sort of apricot colour, so much glow, lovely glow but not shimmer and sparkle. These can apparently be used on eyes, lips and cheeks. I've only been using this on my cheeks as a blush, and I really have to build this up because, as you can see, it's quite light for my skin tone, and despite that I've never had any issues. It doesn't move anything underneath. It doesn't start, you know, clogging up or turning into clay on the cheeks, which a lot of these products do. I find it really easy to work with and so beautiful and smoothing. This is a blurring balm powder hybrid, so it kind of applies like a cream, but then it sets down to a powder, so it wears really nicely. It's so smooth as well. That blurring claim is really true. Really smooth and perfecting on the cheeks. So pretty. Finally, I've joined the Danessa Myricks family, and it won't be my last visit there. So now for lip products. What's Up Beauty sent me all three of their new lipsticks. This is some of the nicest packaging I've ever felt in my pores. They are so weighty, and this blue colour is so beautiful. It's just an absolute joy. And what's inside, even more so. Like, look at that. It's a work of art. This is the shade Eye of Ra, and I think this is my favourite. They're all beautiful. They are matte bullet lipsticks, so creamy, extremely pigmented. I mean, that's a couple of passes there. Really lovely, creamy, smooth, highly pigmented matte bullet lipsticks. So pretty. This is Ankh Seba and then Eye of Ra. They're all beautiful, so smooth, creamy, buttery mattes with a huge amount of pigment and some of the most beautiful packaging I've ever seen. Really like those. Even though, you know, matte lipsticks are not my favourite, I have been really enjoying them. I picked up one of the new balms from Sisley. I wish these had more shades because I do love Sisley lip products, but these are very, very subtle. I was building that up for approximately 200 passes then, and it's still a very subtle little bit of colour. So there you have it there, and that was a lot of passes, okay? We're talking like 10. That is as much as you can really build these up. Very subtle, and they're nice. They're a nice balm. I love Sisley's packaging. I took this on holiday with me and I really appreciated it. What I will say, if like myself, you have a lot of these like hint of a tint lip balms like I do, then this doesn't stand out to me, and it's very expensive. There are only 3 shades, which is a shame. I feel like if there had been more shades and we had a bit more something different in the way of the colours, they may have been more worth it, but they are really expensive and they don't stand out when you compare them to the numerous other sort of tinted lip balms that we've got from Chantecaille, from Charlotte Tilbury, from Lisa Eldridge, from Pat McGrath. They all are really nice. These don't sort of stand head and shoulders above all of those other brands. It's a nice tinted lip balm with, you know, quite a sort of sheer amount of pigmentation. So I don't think you especially need to get this if you already have a lot of these types of products, because it isn't any different or any more special than the others. And actually the color choice kind of limits, you know, how many or whether you would want or need it in your collection. It's nice, but I don't think you need to run out and buy it if you already have some products like this. And then finally, I was sent some of Tatcha's new Kissu lip tints. These are SPF 25 lip balms, similar to the Sisley, but these have SPF in them. So again, that's a sort of thing that counts a bit above the Sisley for these. These also definitely have a bit more colour to them, so that was only sort of, you know, 4 or 5 passes. This is the shade Plum Blossom, and this is my favourite. It's so pretty. Look at that. These are really nice and comfortable on the lips. That lovely balmy formula, really nice and thin and comfortable and lightweight. The perfect amount of colour if you want something really easy going that you can apply on the go and have that extra bonus of the SPF in there. They're not super shiny. They have sort of a satin finish. I would say they're not glossy. The Sisley are a little glossier, I think, but less pigmented. So it really depends what you're looking for. I think they're both lovely formulas. The Sisley is a bit shinier and definitely less pigmentation. So it's up to you as to which you would prefer. I would say that I prefer the new Lisa Eldridge over both of these formulas, but this one does have the SPF, so it is perfect for summer and if you're going to be out in the sun to protect your lipsies. Packaging also of these is beautiful, so pretty. Really love all the little details in there. So there you have it. Those are all of my thoughts and updates on everything new that I tried in the month of May. Please let me know your thoughts on all of these products. Have you tried any of these? Did you get along better or worse than I did with them? Please let us know your favorite new product that you tried in the month of May in the comment section down below, and any fails that you had. Let us know. Warn us, please. But I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and I would love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.